I have made it really very precise. And the main lesson we have learned is that we cannot have a blanket understanding of Saṅkhāra, and we have to interpret it according to its context of usage. The details have been provided by all of you in your various presentations. Application in daily living. First of all, the mind is a Saṅkhāra. Therefore, it is a product of causes and conditions. Our job is to give the right causes and conditions in order for the mind to be developed. And what are these? The right causes and conditions are right information and intelligence and effort to apply it based on the Noble Eightfold Path. As you all know, the Noble Eightfold Path starts with right view. You have to get that right from the beginning, otherwise you may go astray. That is right information in terms of view. In terms of the Noble Eightfold Path, which is the path that leads out of samsara, the view is that all sankharas, all constructed things, all constructions constructed out of causes and conditions exhibit the three characteristics of impermanence, suffering, and not-self. We also need to have the intelligence on how to apply this. And also, actually, we need the mindfulness to remember this right view. You might have heard about this right view. You come to this workshop. I say it so many times. I keep on reminding you that sankharas are the products of causes and conditions. Then you have to try to look at the cause, condition, and effect, especially in the subjective experiencer that is responding or reacting to whatever is happening at the six senses. You need the mindfulness to remember when you hear this, and then you need to recollect it when you no longer hear all these words, and then you have to remind yourself to put that into practice. For example, many of you may have realized that in the course of the guided meditation, there are many comments and reactions to the sounds that you hear and the video that is appearing in front of you. Now, were you applying right view at the time? Did you look at these mental activities as not mine, not me, not myself, and as products of causes and conditions? Or did you look at them as my thought, my reaction, my response? It's one thing to be able to see these things after they have arisen. That is the fourth R of mindfulness, retrospecting. You're looking back at what had just happened, but it did not necessarily have the right view. There could still be the wrong view. That is my thought, my perception, my reaction, or judgmental upon yourself. Oh, how can I be such a bad Buddhist? How can I be so judgmental? And so forth. You need to remind yourself that these are not mine, not me, not myself. These are products of causes and conditions. That's why you need the mindfulness. It's so important. And then also you need the intelligence. You cannot afford to apply this in every instance because, as I said, first of all, you have to learn to compose your mind, get into that mode of dynamic composure, and then train yourself to be able to catch intentions. Once you catch intentions, then you have to process them according to the bar test. If they pass the bar test, then you have to pursue them, particularly if it's related to your family obligations or to your job responsibilities. In such cases, you may not have the time to look at them in terms of the three characteristics as not mine, not me, not myself. So you need the intelligence to be able to discriminate the circumstances under which you can apply these three characteristics and when not to apply them. On the other hand, I've said that if you catch those intentions, after processing, you find that they don't pass the bar test, then you can trash them. But while you're trashing them, you can look at them as anicca, dukkha, anatta, look at the cause and condition, how they arose. You can see them in terms of not mine, not me, not myself, provided you have the time and space to do so. If you are engaged in some very important events in your daily life, in your job, for example, you cannot afford to do that. You have to use intelligence to know when to apply this right view. And also, right effort is also required. In the Mahācattarisika Sutta, MN 117, it says that there are 3 executives of the Noble Eightfold Path. If these 3 don't work, the rest of them won't work. And what are they? This right view, right mindfulness, and right effort. You need to have right view in the first place. That's the most important thing. And then you need to have right mindfulness to be able to remember, recollect, and remind yourself about them. And then also to retrospect, to look back at what's happening in your mind as it responds or reacts to the 6 senses. But then you also need the effort, like I said just now. You might be aware of some unwholesome thought that has arisen. But then you also need the right effort to abandon unwholesome thoughts, unwholesome mental states, and prevent them from arising, arouse yet unarisen wholesome states, and then maintain and develop them to fulfillment. Of course, this again needs your intelligence. As I said earlier, you have to live within your own priorities and also within the circumstances of a layperson. You cannot afford to live like an 8-precept yogi in your daily life because you need to earn a living. It's impossible not to have any attachment or desires living in this world. You just have to decide how much you can afford to desire. And you find that that desire doesn't pass the bar test. The bar test is also very relative. It depends on your own values and your own priorities. So you have to modify accordingly. You need intelligence to do that. And you have the right effort to resist the temptation of doing something unwholesome, which is not within your value system, not within your priorities. The practice of open mindfulness is a very practical approach to achieve this in daily living, because you have trained your mind to practice with the eyes open. Now, this will stand you in good stead, because it's not like meditating in an ideal environment with your eyes closed and all the windows closed and then your aircon on, and then you can achieve static tranquility, static composure. Well, if you can afford the time, okay, go ahead and do that. But don't just rely on that. You still need to develop dynamic composure in your daily life so that your mind can be in the right mode to catch intentions, process them, and act wisely. This is the most important takeaway of applying open mindfulness in your daily life, and then make use of all the information and insights that you have gained through this workshop to further your practice and reduce suffering, increase happiness and contentment in your daily life.